You know what's fun? Flash photography. You know what's not fun? Trying to focus on a subject that's basically a silhouette in your viewfinder. If you've ever struggled to see your subject because your exposure settings are dialed in for flash, Nikon has a setting that'll change your life, or at least your frustration levels. Today we're diving into view mode, parentheses photo live, on Nikon Z cameras, specifically how it helps you actually see what you're shooting even when your subject is technically in the dark. Let's light it up. Welcome back to the channel. If you're a flash shooter, portraits, events, weddings, or even fashion, this one's for you. You already know that shooting with a flash in manual mode, or any mode really, can turn your EVF into a pitch black horror movie preview. But with one Nikon setting, you can turn that black box into a bright, visible preview that makes composition and focus way easier. Hi, Joe here from Shutter Speed Photography. It is very nice to see your smiling face again here on YouTube. I've photographed the National Hockey League, major New York City concerts, pop culture events, weddings, families, real estate, and more. My work has been published in newspapers, magazines, and even on a concert t-shirt. And hey, if you love tips like this, hit that subscribe button so you never miss a gear trick that actually makes your life easier. So picture this. You're at an indoor event, the lights are low, the ambient exposure is set to keep background noise down, and your flash is doing the heavy lifting. Your shutter's at 1/200th, ISO 100, f4, and your screen pitch black. Now try focusing on someone's eyes like that. Yeah, not fun. That's where view mode, photo live, steps in. On supported Nikon Z cameras, head to the custom settings menu. Typically D9 or D10, but it could vary depending on your camera, and find view mode, in parentheses photo live. You'll see two main options. First, show effects of settings. This shows you a preview of how your settings like exposure, white balance, and picture control will affect the image. If you select only when flash is not used, the camera will adjust the brightness of the preview when a flash is used or attached, making it easier to compose even very dark scenes. This is especially useful when your exposure is dialed in for flash and would otherwise show a pitch black screen. The other option is adjust for ease of viewing. This disables the accurate exposure preview entirely and instead prioritizes screen visibility. You can choose auto or go to custom and fine-tune how the preview looks, including toggling white balance preview, picture control preview, and even brightening shadows in a display. That last one is especially helpful if you're in a high contrast or dim environment and just need to see. Now let's talk exposure. I use what I call the ASIF method. A for aperture. Set it as if it's your creative decision maker. Go wide for background blur or stop down for more detail. S for shutter speed. Choose what suits the situation. For portraits, 1/125th is a great starting point. Just keep in mind, most Nikon Z flashes have a flash sync speed of around 1/200th or 1/250th. So to avoid issues, unless you're using high-speed sync, it's safest to stay at or below that sync speed when using traditional flash. I is for ISO, and use this to fine-tune the ambient light in your scene. Keep it low for dramatic lighting, or raise it to blend in more ambient detail. Once you've dialed in ambient exposure and it fits your mood or your vision, whether it's moody or natural or dramatic, then F for flash. Turn it on and let it handle the subject lighting. This is where view mode, photo live, is so useful. Without it, your EVF or monitor might be nearly black due to your exposure settings. With it, you can still see your subject clearly, get focus, and compose your shot without guessing. Now, let's talk compatibility. Not every Nikon Z camera includes this feature set in full. Here are the cameras that support view mode with confirmed sub-options like only when flash is not used, auto custom display settings, and shadow brightening. So that'll be the Z8, the Z9, the ZF, the Z6 III, and the Z7 II. As for the Z5 II, Nikon has not published a full breakdown yet of whether it supports all view mode, photo live sub options. So while it may have similar features, I'd recommend checking directly on your camera or Nikon support site to confirm. Cameras like the Z52, Z50, Z5, Z6, Z7, ZFC, and Z30 include a more basic version called Apply Settings to Live View. This lets you preview some changes like white balance and exposure comp, but they don't include flash aware, preview toggling, or options to brighten shadows in the display. Still useful, but not quite as powerful. Here's what I love about this for flash shooters. You can see your subject clearly before the flash fires. Autofocus works better in low light. You're not composing blind, and when paired with the ASIF method, it gives you complete creative control without any visual guesswork. Now, the downsides. The preview isn't always perfectly accurate. It's optimized for usability, not exposure perfection. And if you forget the setting is active, your shots might look different than what the screen shows. But once you understand what it's doing, it just makes life easier. If you shoot with flash regularly, especially in dim environments, this feature is a no-brainer. It makes the shooting process more intuitive and way less frustrating. Would I use this? Absolutely, and I do. It's become part of my workflow whenever I'm using flash in dark environments or mixed lighting. And when you combine it with the ASIF method, it's an incredibly effective way to control both your background and your subject. If you found this helpful, give it a like, subscribe for more gear tips like this, and drop a comment. What camera do you shoot with, and does yours support this feature? Do you use the ASIF method or something else? Also, come hang out in my Nikon Z Facebook group. The link's in the comments, and it's a great place to nerd out over gear with other Z shooters. Thanks so much for watching. I truly appreciate you being here, and I'll catch you in the next video. Until then, shoot smart, shoot sharp, and keep lighting your world.